What's going on, my Yu-Gi-Oh nerds? Today we're going to be cooking up a whole new deck. So I've been on this deck since it came out, not to be all hipster about it. I just lucked out that it became good. It's fairly cheap right now. There's a couple cards that are in the 20s and 30s, but for a very competitive deck, I'm not going to say this is top deck, but Memento. So this deck is a lot of fun. The tech you can put into it that make it even better is the Fiendsmith engine, which we're not going to talk about that now, but it works very well with this deck. So that's where it gets more expensive, and even just the basic deck itself can actually put up some pretty good boards. If you go interrupted, you're probably going to win. It's pretty awesome. Especially with the new support that came out, actually made the deck even better. And what's also great about it is you don't need a lot of extra deck space for the engine, so you can play all the Fiendsmith stuff you want, and depending what end board you want to get to, you can basically get to it. So let's kind of start out right now. So this is the starter. I am playing 2. I think I'm going to switch to 3. I just needed to make some room for this Fiendsmith engine, but I think there's better ways of doing it. So this is Anguish. When it is normal or special summoned, you get to search your deck for another Memento monster, and this is basically your 1-card combo to get to an end board that is 6 negates, couple interruptions. Pretty amazing. So this is actually probably going to switch. I've been playing 3 of Darkblade. What Darkblade does is you can destroy a Memento monster on the card and special summon a different Memento monster, and you usually use Darkblade to get into Anguish, and I think that's where I'm going to switch out. I think I'm going to do 3 Anguish, 2 Darkblade. Now this is your best card in the game, Tatsunogo Shigo. The names are super weird, but Tatsunu Tushigo. Tatsunu Tushigo. Okay. Anyways. So when you get this card to your hand, as long as you control a Memento or no monsters, or only Memento and no monsters, you can special summon this, and this is actually how you continue your plays. What it does is you can destroy a monster, you pick itself, and you can send 3 to the graveyard from deck. And these are going to be the 3 you play. These are one-ofs. You're going to play Memento and Gaddock, Mace, and Goblin. And if you can resolve these 3 going to the grave off of him, that's kind of where our combo goes. We'll get more into that. Now this is where I have a little bit of a hard time. Sleepy. This is one of the new cards that gets added to it. Basically, this is your fusion. This is a monster fusion. As long as you control a Memento and if someone was destroyed, you can special summon this, then fusion summon using your hand or field. So this gets you into the other monsters. This is great to play through hand traps, but if you don't get hand trapped, it's kind of a dead card in your hand to a point, depending game state. It's just like, I don't know. I play 1 of, I was playing 2, I quickly got rid of 2. So, if you're only playing straight Memento, I would probably play 2. But if you're playing other engines, like Fiendsmith, I think 1 is just fine. Now, this is where I'm going to catch some hate. I play 2 Horned Dragons. So, as long as you have 3 Memento in your grave, you can special summon this. And then if he is destroyed by card effect, you can destroy another Memento on field and destroy 2 other cards. So that is a really great effect. This is one, it's almost dead in your hand, but it's also not. I don't know. I've had a lot of situations where I needed more than 1, so I play 2. And same with the boss monster, Combined Creation. I play 2 because your deck is sunk if you don't have this guy. If this guy somehow gets to grave, gets banished, you don't have access to him, you're going to lose the duel. You are. Unless you play a crazy engine and this is your side engine, which is just weird. You lose your boss monster, you're not going to win. Everything basically revolves around your boss monster. He's tower, you got to protect it. So I play 2. So this one, Horned Dragon, maybe 2. I don't know. Like I said, I've needed 2. But if you played 1, I think you're probably playing it correctly. Boss Monster 2, it sucks because it's another card in your hand that can be dead. But like I said, if you lose him, you lose the duel. There's no way around it. For spells, 3 of the Fusion. One of the best cards in your deck. So what this is going to do, it just fusion summons your monsters. But if one of your Memento was destroyed by a card effect, Then you can also send cards from grave back to deck, so you get to shuffle back and get your fusion off, which you want monsters in your grave, but you're going to load it so full that it doesn't matter. So you're going to play 3 of these. If you open any of this or Bone Party, so what Bone Party does is destroy Memento, then you get to add one or special summon one of a different name. These in your opening hand are just phenomenal. Like these, you're going to search these in your combo, but they're not dead if you don't search them. You just get to search for more stuff. So I hate playing the 1-ofs that you have to search, which like the monsters, the 1-ofs, they're really hard if you draw into them. But you can play around it. These, if you draw into them, even though you're going to search them later, it doesn't matter. It just means you can search into other stuff. They're great extenders. They're not dead. They're always playable. The field spell. I play 2 of the field spell. So what this does is, if a Memento is destroyed, you get to special summon one of a lesser level from your grave to the field, which is great because it doesn't matter how it's destroyed. And also, if you have a Memento spell or trap in your grave, you get to set it on your end phase. So it just plays around all of the destruction that's going to happen. So it's like, oh no, that one destroyed. Oh, that's okay. We're bringing it right back. And it is so fun just to keep bringing the spell back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. If you get grindy, it just helps you continue a grindy game and make you win better. Boneback. This one, you don't have to play. I like it. It has come up enough, especially in the current format with everyone on Bestials, that this is actually a really good one to get to grave. So you can send, with Goblin, you can send monsters to the grave, or send spells to the grave, and this is one of the spells you want in the grave. So how it reads is, if a Memento is removed from your graveyard, it's banished by a card effect. You can activate this in the grave, and you banish it, and you get to special as many Mementos from your deck as you can, different names. So this saves your butt so much. And its regular effect on field is if a face-up Memento monster you control, leaves the field because of your opponent's card. Leaves the field because of your opponent's card. Not destroyed, not banished, just leaves the field. It lets you summon your boss monster, just getting rid of all of its summoning effects. So it's a 1-of that comes up. Again, you don't have to. I like it. It's kind of a janky tech card, but it has come up a lot. But it's also like, I don't know. This is one, if you were looking to cut a card, I do not think you need to play Boneback. And then the spells and traps. There's some debate over this, but I think it's your bread and butter. If these are on the field, you have Memento monsters, it's good. Like, it's really, really hard to say these are cuttable. Some people are going to say it, but I think these, again, bread and butter. If you have these in a Memento, you're going to keep going. And it's so hard to interfere with traps. It's easy to interfere with monsters on the field. It's harder to interfere with the traps. So I think these are musts, but not everyone's going to agree with me. So what this one does, this is Fracture Dance. As long as you control a Memento monster, it's a pop. Any Memento monster, it's a pop. But if you control the big guy, it's a pop, then you get to destroy another one. So it's 2 pops. And then with all the other monsters on the field, it gets pretty crazy. And what this one is as long as you control the big guy, you can reduce his level by 1,000 and negate a face-up monster on the field during activation. So it's not as good as, say, like a Veiler or an Imperm, but that's once per chain, and it's a 5k. So you can get 3 good negates before you have to worry about him being too small for them to attack over. And if you have this one set as well, or not set, is if this is in the grave, because you're probably going to use your destructions first. Don't have to, it's all game state. But if this is in the grave, you can banish it and reduce all their monsters by 1,000 attack. So then even if you do get into a 2,000 combined creation, he's still very worthy up to the 3Ks, and with all the other monsters, like, it's not bad. If you get to that point, they're probably on their last monster anyways, so, like, you're good. Alright. So I'm going to show you guys just the bread and butter combo. This is starting out with 1 Anguish in hand, and as long as this goes through, this is going to get you to everything. And like I said, if you play any of the other engines, these work really well with other engine cards. But this is the basic combo. And what's really cool about Memento is you can almost do the combo backwards if you had to, because it doesn't really matter where you start. It's all the cards have very similar effects. But what it's going to happen is, like, okay, I'm going to destroy this one to get this card in this combo. Oh, I have to go backwards. I got the big guys. I'm going to destroy this guy to get the little guy. And then the little guy destroys, gets the big guy. So it's kind of cool that you can almost play it backwards. But so what we're going to do is we are going to normal summon Anguish. Anguish effects let us add a Memento card. So we are going to get Tatsuna Tushigo. And because we control a Memento card and nothing else, we're going to special Tattoo Negotio. Use its effect. It's going to destroy itself. And we are going to send 3 cards to the grave. And Gaddock, Mace, Goblin. So those 3 are going to go to the grave. So why we only play one of these is because you don't want to see them in your opening hand. If you do, we can get rid of them through other combos. But if you don't see them, that's even better. So that's why they're one-ofs. So, when Gaddock is sent to grave because of a Memento effect, we can special summon it. Has another effect. If it is normal or special summon, you get an added card from grave to hand. We're not going to do that yet. It's a good thing it's not a mandatory. So now we're going to use Anguish effect. Anguish's second effect is we can target a level 1 or 2 Memento in grave, destroy a Memento on field, and special summon the one in grave. So we're going to destroy Anguish to get out Mace. Now Mace's effect. What it is you can destroy a Memento on field, then you can add a Memento card from deck to hand. So we're going to destroy Mace, and we are going to search out the fusion spell. So now we're going to use the fusion spell. And what the fusion spell is, we can use anything from our hand or field, or if a Memento was destroyed, and we just did a bunch of destroying, we can shuffle back from grave to deck. So what we're going to shuffle back is Mace and Tatsu. Those are going to go back to deck to special out our boss monster. Twin Dragon. So what Twin Dragon does, and this is one of, I play one of it. If you want to play 2, you can. But like I said, there's only like 3 monsters for extra deck for this. And if you want to go into other bigger stuff, I think this guy's a one of, because he's going to go back. He shuffles back pretty easily. But his effect is when he is normal or special summoned, when he is special summoned, I can destroy a Memento on hand or in hand or on the field to add 2 cards from deck to hand. So we're going to destroy Gaddock, and we are going to get our 2 big guys. We're going to get Horn Dragon, and we're going to get our boss monster. To hand. Now we have at least 3 Memento in grave. So we can start special summoning here. But what we're going to do first is we're going to use our fusion. Our fusion effect in grave is we can banish it, destroy 1 Memento on field, and add a Memento Speller Trap from deck to hand. So we're going to destroy, and we are going to get the field spell. That's why I only play 2 of the field spell. It's really not dead in your hand if you draw into it, but like we're probably going to get into it anyways. So then we're going to activate the field spell. Field spell, when it is activated, nothing happens, but because our Twin Dragon was destroyed, we get to special summon a monster of lower value. So we're going to get our Goblin back. So now, our Twin Dragon. Our Twin Dragon is going to be special summoned because we have at least 3 monsters in grave. We're going to use Goblin's effect to destroy the Horn Dragon to put our 2 traps into the grave. Traps into the grave, and now our effect of the field spell is going to pop because a Memento was destroyed. Once per turn, we can special summon a lower Memento from it. And it does target, though, so we are going to target the Horn Dragon. And so if you're playing against this deck, you can get this guy, so then we don't have the target. So, target him to special our Gaddock, which is only a level 2. Now we're going to use Gaddock's effect. Because it was special summon, we get to add a Speller Trap from the deck to from the graveyard to the hand. Well, any Memento, but we're going to take the trap, and then we're going to add this to hand. Alright, so now what we're going to do is we're going to summon our IP Masquerain. And now we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 monsters in our grave that we can special summon our big guy with. So now, big guy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These come back. Now we've got our big guy on the field. We can set our spell or trap. This one we grabbed the Cranium Burst. And then during our end phase, we get to set that. So now we have got technically up to 5 monster negates on the field. Destroy 2 cards, and our IP, which is a banish, then a banish. And that is with a 1-card combo, so which is pretty great. Now, the only thing about this is we want to have another name in grave to use his effect. His effect will shuffle or will summon a memento from grave. Then we always summon the Witch back. And Witch's effect is when it's on my special summon you get to add. We add Mace or Goblin depending on what deck you're playing against. Mace is a snatch steal on your opponent's turn, and Goblin is they cannot target memento monsters with card effects. And then, so once you have this set up, then your IP is even more effective, and the only difference is you had another memento in hand to get to the full board. But this is all off of 1. So even if we did this, instead of going into the IP, you probably just go right into SP Little Knight. And like I said, this is all off of just the 1-card combo. So you get all those negates off of 1 card, which is super nice. And like I said, this can play around hand traps if you draw the right way. Because like I said, you basically just get rid of your fusion for, if they don't get into the fusion, you go into Sleepy. And then you can make their other big monster. What this guy does is he basically does the same thing as a Tatsunjushiko. Is you can, when he's summoned, you can send 3 to the grave. And what's cool about this is extra deck or main deck, so you send another copy and he gets you your field spell. So instead of going into the other line, this just lets you set up the same line just with Sleepy instead of the fusion. So it's really good at playing around hand traps. I mean, you can always draw the brick, but you can at least play through 1 or 2, barring just shit hands. But those happen. You can't stop those. And like I said, these are the only 3 extra deck monsters that you play. The Twin Dragon and the Creation King. And this one is the destruction to get you to your traps or to your monsters. This is the one that sends you. So you get a lot of playroom. You get a lot of play around. And like I said, it's cool because that's how you start with Witch. But say you start out and you have a Goblin and a Gaddock and the fusion spell. That's why we play 3 of. These just start going around, you destroy him, but because he was destroyed, then you get to summon up the Gaddock or the Goblin, and then you can destroy them off of the creation, or off of the fusion, to get you to the other one, so which gets you to the field spell and stuff like that, and then you can use the Goblin to destroy itself, and then the Goblin destroy. Yeah, so it's really cool that you can almost play backwards if you have to, and I've had to a few times. So it's not a very linear thing. It's if they hit your Tatsu, this is the only one you really need to protect yourself. This one needs to go off. And like I said, if it doesn't go off and you get into Sleepy, then you can keep going. But this is your guy right here. This is the one that needs to resolve. So I play Cross Out with a couple hand traps to make sure this guy goes off. That's the one you got to protect. But you can put so much tech into this and different stuff, and there's going to be a lot of people that say different things, but I think this is the way to go for this engine. Like I said, I think I'm going to drop the Knight down to, Dark Knight down to 2 and play 3 Witch, because I think that starter is just better. If you start out with Dark, then he's the 1-card combo that gets you to everything on board because he's an extra name in grave. But he's also, if he gets stopped and you don't have an extender, he's only got the 1 effect, so it's Ugh. So I think 3 Witch, 2 Darkblade. And yeah, I think that's how we get around all this. So remember, guys, remember those ABCs. Always be cooking.
Thank you for checking out another one of my videos. If you're interested in any more, I've got a couple lined up right here. And if you haven't yet, click the icon in the center to subscribe to my channel. And remember, have fun out there.